Research Methods in Education, Chapter 4, Theory in Education Research. Structure of the chapter. What is a theory? Why have a theory? What makes a theory interesting? Types of theory. Where does a theory come from? What is a theory? A statement, suggestion, or proposition that brings together concepts and constructs into a coherent whole, framework, or system which has clearly set limits and assumptions. A theory specifies the relationship between its elements or component parts, concepts, and constructs. A theory describes, a theory explains, a theory predicts. A theory is a generalized and generalizable statement. For example, it holds true across contexts beyond those that gave rise to the theory and beyond the specific case in question. A general set of principles that are independent of the specific case, situation, phenomenon, or observation to be explained. A way of looking at and seeing things, conducting research, methodologies, methods, patterns, and true tests, and setting research agenda. What to research and how. Why have a theory? A theory helps us to select, classify, and organize ideas, processes, and concepts. A theory helps us to explain, clarify, and articulate the heart of the issue. Theory helps us to formulate and find causal relationships. Theory helps us to understand what, how, and why observed phenomena and regularities occur. Theory helps us to predict, for example, outcomes, relationships. Theory guides the prediction. Why have a theory? A theory helps us to select, classify, and organize ideas, processes, and concepts. A theory helps us to explain, clarify, and articulate the heart of the issue. Theory helps us to formulate and find causal relationships. Theory helps us to understand what, how, and why observed phenomena and regularities occur. Theory helps us to predict, for example, outcomes, relationships. Theory guides the direction of the research, identifying key fields, methods of the working, key concepts. In other words, it serves as a basis for action. Theory connects the researcher to existing knowledge in the field. Why have theory? Theories can identify new issues and areas in their field. Theories provide a basis for hypothesis formulation and testing. Theoretical framework identify key variables operating in a phenomenon, key concepts, and the conceptual basis and framework of the research. Theory identifies and articulates research problems or questions and how to research them. A theoretical framework clarifies which facts and evidence will and will not be relevant and important in the research, and what are the important research questions that need to be posed to understand and explain an issue. Theory enables the researcher to move to generalization and to identify some of the limits of generalization. What are interesting theories. Those that expose, challenge, or problematize our taking for granted assumptions in some significant way. Those that develop and evaluate an alternative ground of assumptions. Those that move beyond gap-spotting theories and avoid working within given agendas rather than challenging them. Those that act as a bridge between two or more different theories. Those that identify redundant or incorrect earlier theories. Those that generate their own terms and laws. Types of theory: empirical theory, grand theory, middle range theory, normative theory, for example, critical theory, grounded theory. Where does the theory come from? Observation and analysis. Observe the regularities or relationships of an association of events or of data. Reflection, a thought or idea. Why did such and such happen? Or why is such and such happening? Creative imagination, ideological orientation, or life experiences. A new thought or idea. New links between phenomena. Literature which gives rise to a theory or previous research. East Asian students are naturally better at mathematics than Western students. Asking a what-if question. If assessment were to become more authentic, would it increase student motivation, or does repeating a year at school improve student performance? Questions for the role of theory in educational research. What definition of a theory are you using? What is your theory? State it clearly. Is it a hypothesis, a set of related concepts, a value system, a political or ideological agenda, an explanatory framework, a possible explanation, an opinion, an approach, etc.? What is the theoretical framework in which you are working? What are its key components, constructs, concepts, and elements, and how do they relate to each other logically and coherently? What is your theory seeking to describe? What? Explain how, why, when, predict, what if, generalize, i.e., what is it a theory of, and why is this relevant for your research? What makes your theory interesting? How important is a theory in your research? Why? Do you need to make it explicit? What theories are you using, and why these? How relevant are they to your study? What is the purpose of your research with regard to theory? For example, to test, apply, explain, understand, generate, critique, validate, extend, define, refute a theory? What is the relationship between your theory, your research, and your research questions? What type of theory are you using? For example, empirical, grand, normative, middle range, critical, grounded. What methodologies are you using to work with your theory? For example, empirical testing, hermeneutic interpretation and explanation, ideology critique. What criteria are you using to validate your theory? For example, compatibility with empirical data, logical coherence and adequacy, explanatory potential, achievement of transformative and emancipatory potential, etc. How will you validate your theory? How does your theory give rise to testable propositions or hypotheses, or inform a hermeneutic exercise, or bring about its espoused values or normative intentions? What are the boundaries of and assumptions in your story? Thank you. See you next chapter.